Tristen Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristen Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, and today, I'm your host. Seth Rollins, he built the vision, but on Raw in Perth, the people that he made famous, the people that he made us all care about, they tore it apart. But in one of the most shocking, and when I tell you it's shocking, I didn't really expect it coming, but in one of the most shocking betrayals involving Seth Rollins that we've seen since The Shield, Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman left the visionary, the creator of the vision, broken on the mat. Today, we are talking about what really happened, why it matters, and what this means for the future of WWE's power structure. I am not alone. Jess the Yaptain, she is here in full effect to give you the fans' point of view and the woman's point of view, because we just love to hear her voice. Jess, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing, Trish? Look, I was just as shook as everybody else, but it was like I was shook, but then I knew better from the beginning, because karma's gonna come get her rent every time, and we seen what happens when you talk down to your mates.
That's right.
In front of their face. We've seen it, and now here we are. Here we are, Trish. How you think this is going to play out, man? I've heard some rumors.
Well, I have it in my head how I think it's going to play out. You know, we're going to eventually get there. But I say this: you don't get betrayed by strangers. You get betrayed by the people that you know. You know, the things that we're going to be looking at today is that we are going to be looking at the emotion. Betrayal is an emotion alone. We're going to be looking at the shock and the disbelief. This happened the night after Crown Jewel 2025 in Perth. It's a tragic downfall. Seth Rollins created the vision, but he didn't see this one coming. When you saw this happen live, Jess, what was your first thought? Was this poetic justice or just straight up backstabbing?
I'm gonna have to say justice. I'm sorry, I gotta say justice, because this is karma, and history just has a way of repeating itself. Roman did this, and Seth didn't learn. Roman treated the bloodline like real kind of janky. I don't need y'all. I'm me. I'm the tribal chief. Woo woo woo. And I guess Seth thought that little thing would work, and it did not. But we've also heard some interesting rumors about this little storyline. You want to hear my tea? Would y'all like to hear?
Well, let's hold on to that for a little bit later on. We'll get into that, into the storylines, to the rumor and the innuendo and everything else like that. But so far in the chat, we got Fernando checking in. Fernando says, Buenos dias. Maria says, good afternoon. Maria, you're supposed to say Buenos tardes. You know, because if Fernando says Buenos, then, whatever, Spanish class. Fernando says, what's up, Maria? Maria returns the salutation, says, hello, Fernando. Fernando says, if Seth is injured, this turn makes sense. If not, this booking decision is a huge mistake, and there was a lot of story left to the vision. Maria says, hello, Jess. She said, I saw this coming. Didn't you see Bron Breakker face in the beginning of Raw, and Seth was giving himself credit? Yeah.
That's when I knew. He gave him that look like, when I saw that, I was like, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
So we got a poll going on right now, and the poll was, what's your reaction to Seth's betrayal in Perth? Was it total shock? Did you see it coming? Did you love it or hate it? So make sure you guys lock that in throughout the show, because if you are watching it live, it's a perk that you get. You get to participate live in the show. But looking at this whole entire thing to see how this whole entire thing just just turned itself on its head. You know, Seth Rollins, he created the vision, right? That's not even a secret. Seth Rollins, he created the vision, the faction, to shape WWE's future. You know, he aligned himself with Paul Heyman, marking the rare union of two master strategics. You know, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, they are a part of the muscle, but also part of the future he claimed to mentor. The thing is that Rollins, his ego, it started to show. You know, I built this. I lead this.
Right.
But Bron Breakker's body language changed on recent episodes. It wasn't, Maria said that she's seen the body language on Raw. It was well before that. I'm telling you, if you go back and you watch the pre-show, the preview show, and the recap show that Jess and I did around Crown Jewel, you get to see that I was talking about it, that it's only a matter of time before Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker show they behind. Bron Breakker's body language is not new. I did. I called it like I called you. Like I texted you right away. I was like, hey girl, did you see Raw?
Yeah. I was like, called it immediately. Like,
The other thing that you'd look at as well too is Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, after defeating Roman Reigns and calling himself the tribal thief, he had just enough credibility in his own to challenge the hierarchy. He was feeling himself. You beat single-handedly the #1 WWE superstar that came out of the pandemic. You beat one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time in the name of Roman Reigns. So that you would think, anybody would think that Bronson Reed couldn't feel himself?
I guess, because, I mean, again, I talk about Bron so much because he just has that aura. He has main event aura. He's always had it since I first met him. The whole dog persona and that spear, like, sometimes you forget that he is also a Nepo baby, you know? But I truly feel like he did try to play in Bron's face. He knows. Like, how many times, like, everybody, if you got a pet, because I got a dog. If you don't know, I have a dog. You can't continuously talk bad about your pet and not expect it to react.
True.
I'm just saying, and that happens in friendships. You can't sit here and keep talking about your people like this and not expect them to react to that. So I'm like, oh, well, Seth, that's what you get, bro. That's what you get. For him to snatch his belt like that, oh, there's so much going on right there.
You see, the thing, too, though, when I'm looking at the whole entire thing, I'm not only putting this all on Bron Breakker. I'm putting this on Paul Heyman himself as well, too. You know, because Paul Heyman has a long history of flipping sides at the right time. Paul Heyman is about longevity. Seth Rollins is 39 years old. Bron Breakker is 27. And in less than a week, Bron Breakker is going to be 27 years old. Bronson Reed is 37, but he's still got plenty of mileage on him, not as compared to Seth. You know, Paul Heyman, he wanted to align himself with the stronger generation that fits his pattern. He did it with Brock. He did it with CM Punk. He did it with Roman Reigns. And he also did it with some guy. Who was that guy? Let me show you a picture of that guy. Let me show you a picture of that guy. I don't know if you know the guy, but he did it. I might just need to see a picture.
Yeah,
I'll show you. He did it with some guy named Mean Mark. I don't know, Mean Mark Callis. That's the guy on the right. I don't know whatever the hell ever happened to Mean Mark Callis, but you know, Paul Heyman always put himself with other wrestlers that could do good for him. Like I said, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Mean Mark Callis. If you guys know what Mean Mark Callis is, holla at your boy. But Paul Heyman, though, he doesn't manage superstars. What Paul Heyman does, Paul Heyman collects insurance policies. And Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, they are just pretty much his latest payout.
Wow, insurance policy. So you really think that, honestly, Paul never really had any faith in Seth? Do you think that, Trish? Did you think he ever did? He was just trying to find a way to bring in Bron Breakker?
So I think that's a really good question, Jess. And I think that Paul Heyman's been burnt too many times to get burnt again, right? And the reason why he had to pivot, he had to break glass in case of emergency is because look at this. Roman Reigns abandoned Paul Heyman after Cody Rhodes finished the story.
Right.
You know, Paul was left with Solo Sikoa, who mistreated him and then injured him. Then Paul Heyman was forced to choose between Roman, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. Paul rightfully picked Seth Rollins, who was the only man in the triad who didn't abandon him. CM Punk abandoned him as well, too. CM Punk decided he was going to take his ball and go play. Seth, with Paul, picked two of the brightest stars in the WWE. They picked Bronson Reed, who attacked Seth Rollins, and I don't know, maybe this was Paul's plan all along. He was going to bamboozle Seth Rollins to say, hey, you know what, bring this guy in. And Bron Breakker, like you said before, he is the brightest and he is the newest and the current Nepo baby.
Right.
So
and he's good. I mean, it's not like he's not a bad one. He's a good wrestler. He really is. And even as a toddler in the game, he has so much potential to grow.
Sure does.
He could be the next. What's his name?
Don't
the
do
Beast.
it.
He could be the next one.
Ooh.
Honestly,
Next Brock Lesnar.
Yes, he could be as far as stardom.
Maria checks in and says that she feels that Paul Heyman is like a Black Widow. Let me tell you, Paul Heyman is a succubus? He just wants to come in to suck out your soul, and then when he's done, he throws you away. Because when I look at the whole entire thing with Paul Heyman, when Seth Rollins was, I think that Paul Heyman always had an emergency plan. He built a contingency plan into the whole entire thing, and he had to break glass in case of emergency. If you look at the whole entire thing leading up to from the whole entire storyline with Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, and then look at up to last night. Seth Rollins was becoming unhinged. Seth Rollins was no longer able to be controlled, and he felt like he was no longer under the influence of Paul Heyman. When Paul Heyman was giving him the mic at Perth on the stage at the pre-show to talk, Seth Rollins decided that he was going to go leave. Paul Heyman said to Bron and Bron in the back, said, hey, you know what? Let Seth do this by himself. He wants to see who the real man is between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. But you know who wasn't the real man in the whole entire situation?
Ooh, who?
It was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had to use the watch, the Rolex, in order to win that match. That's not real man behavior over there. That's not. Look, and then you go on Raw and you pat yourself on the back. I'm surprised that Seth Rollins didn't break his hand patting himself on the back so hard.
He is a solid dude, isn't he? Like, boy, that's a solid man right there.
But talking about solid men, I'm talking about Bron Breakker right now. Bron Breakker's not a follower. He's a ticking time bomb, and he was waiting for somebody like Paul Heyman to light the fuse. And when you've got Paul Heyman whispering in the air that you should be the one leading, betrayal is only a matter of time, Jess.
Amen. I agree. So I guess it just goes back to what I thought. The group chat has been exposed Monday night. Like, that one group chat that
I see what you did.
The one without Seth. Yeah, man, the one without Seth. Come on now. Y'all know what it is. Y'all have the group chat with your friends, and then you got your group chat with your like your day ones, because y'all know y'all talk about a certain person outside of that group chat. You know what I'm saying?
And Seth wasn't in it. Well, Fernando says that the wise man, in his opinion, is way better than Bobby the Brain Heenan. You know what, man? But look, man, there's only one reason that I think that Paul Heyman, why I could agree with Fernando, and thank you guys so much for your comments. There's only one reason why I can agree with Fernando that Paul Heyman is better than Bobby the Brain Heenan. I say that Paul Heyman is probably the greatest pro wrestling manager of all time. You know why? Because he pivots. He pivots and he knows when to get off the horse. He knows when to get off the horse and go ride another one. Just let me ask you this. And I'm asking everybody in the audience, whether you're watching live or demand, I'm asking you this. When was the last time WWE pulled off a betrayal this perfectly?
Ask me that one more time.
All right.
Wait a minute.
When was the last time, and this is for you guys watching as well too in the chat, when was the last time WWE pulled off a betrayal this perfectly?
Oh, which one? Which one do you want me to bring up? Do you want me to bring up the Shield, or do you want me to bring up the Bloodline? Because both of them were great betrayals right there.
Ooh. You know, one betrayal I'll bring up as well too when I'm talking about the whole entire thing. I'm bringing up John Cena. John Cena was a betrayal. Ooh. That was not a betrayal against the wrestlers. Ooh. That was a betrayal against the audience itself. That one hit home for people. There was tears in the audience. With this one, we could be like, we ain't really like Seth Rollins that much. Go ahead and take your licks, boy. You deserve it.
Right. But I don't know, Tris. Everybody has their feelings about the whole John Cena heel turn.
Maria says that it's Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. Fernando also says that Bron Breakker is much like his uncle Big Papa Pump, the loose cannons who can't be controlled.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I don't dispute that. This is Big Papa Pump. Holla if you hear me. I got your hookup. Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, we would love that. Please come on, Uncle Punk. I would love that. And bring your lovely wife with you.
No, Papa Pump. Pump.
Papa Pump.
Look, see, I know.
You said Papa Punk. I was like, oh yeah, bring. Come on, bring AJ over too. I got some things I want to tell her about herself.
You see, the best part is right that I love this, right? Just because like there's a part of pro wrestling that you might have missed because of when your fandom falls in, and we all know Mr. Big Papa Pump, and he had the muscle that sat right up here and everything else like that. I'm like, oh, I wish I could be like you, but I don't want to take steroids. But either way.
Yeah, because I mean that's what The Rock did. Oops, I'm sorry.
Seth Rollins started the night. He started the night at Monday Night Raw, thanking the crowd, calling the Vision the future, but he slips. And you know when he slipped, what he did, Jess? He said, I don't need you guys anymore.
Right, I never needed the Vision. I am the Vision. I'm like, see, there you go.
Right, so you use them? You think that you're going to bamboozle, flim-flam, okey-doke them? Like...
Yeah, I think that was just the wrong thing. If anything, you could have did that with, like low cars, like Garrison Waller or some people like that. But them dogs right there, we've seen them in action. They're not... their tag team should be F around and find out.
Shoot, that might be the new name. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the new name itself right there. It's like Maria was saying earlier, if you watch the promo that kicked off Raw, I'm challenging everybody right now. Well, not right now, but when you're done with the Tristen Law Show and me and Jess are finished talking to you, go back and just watch that promo. One of the things that I used to do when I wrestled, Jess, was I used to record my wrestling matches, and I would watch my wrestling matches 3 times. I'd watch it once as a wrestler, I'd watch it once as a fan, and I'd watch it the second time with the volume off. The reason why I'd watch it with the volume off is I wanted to make sure that I was able to convey the messages to the people that was so far away that they couldn't see, that they couldn't hear me, but they can see my body language. Go back to that promo, the beginning of Monday Night Raw, and just put it on while you're doing whatever, and just put it on and just watch. Just watch Bron Breakker. You don't need volume. Just watch Bron Breakker. At the end, when Seth Rollins was holding up the belt, Bron Breakker scratching his neck like, you know what, bro, I don't know how much longer I want to be in this. Bron Breakker wasn't liking any of what Seth Rollins had to say. Seth Rollins has needed the Vision. He needed the Vision. Because he said that he didn't need the Vision, he got the Vision. But he was feeling himself in the moment. That's why he did that.
I guess, yeah. And I think at that moment, because I am a Seth freaking Rollins fan. So I wanted to be disgusted, but then also I'm like, that's so typical Seth Rollins behavior. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it was more so like, it just, Bron, I kept watching Bron, and I'm like, I remember when y'all was backstage for talking about Perth, right? I remember y'all was all backstage, and you asked Heyman, yo, so what if Seth does lose Crown Jewel? What's going to happen? And Paul was like, well, I mean, somebody's got to lead the Vision somehow. So, all of this is conspiracies, cool. Oh, this is good wrestling, good storyline wrestling.
And that's what makes wrestling so special. What also makes the Tristen Law Show special is that when you watch live, you get to participate in the chat and be a part of the show. Maria says that Bron Breakker should win the World Championship from CM Punk. I'm going to talk a little bit later on because I have an idea of what I think that Bron Breakker should do. I have an idea of where I see Bron Breakker going. And I just want you guys just to hold on to a little bit. I want you to stick around for that. I want you to tell me whether you think I'm right or wrong. Fernando says that Hogan turning on Team WCW at Bash to the Beach and forming the NWO, not the NWA, the NWO. That was probably one of the biggest betrayals for him. Look, bro, that was a huge betrayal at the time. You never thought that Hogan would ever get rid of the red and yellow, and he got rid of the red and yellow, betrayed WCW. Hulk Hogan betrayed WCW. But right now, right now. This is the betrayal between Seth Rollins and the division, including Paul Heyman. This was the betrayal that he never saw coming. I think,
yeah, he did look a little shook, a little. You know, he was like, dang, man, like.
How the guy calls himself the visionary but never saw that coming?
Right. How did that work? How does that math calculate? How does that science work?
Look, they call Paul Heyman the Oracle, and he saw it coming from a mile away. You know,
right, and he did that goofy face. Like, oh my gosh. Like, oh my God, what are y'all doing?
Seth Rollins called himself.
You know good well, you knew.
Seth Rollins called himself the architect. Let me tell you something. He didn't build anything. What he did was he got allowed to sit at the table with a shark like Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman made him feel like he belonged.
That belonged again, since you betrayed your tribal chief.
Sure did.
It wasn't like he wasn't going to let you come home, but you did what you did.
You know what I think the problem, what the mistake was with Seth Rollins?
What?
I think the problem with Seth Rollins' mistake was thinking that the vision was ever about him. It never was. It was about who comes after him. And he always talked about they are the future. It's about who came after you. When you look at the impact of the whole entire thing, Bron Breakker, he hits that first spear. That's the first betrayal trigger, right? Because you can feel how you feel, but until you pull the trigger, now we are in betrayal mode. Bron has always been on a leash that's been held by Paul Heyman, and when the vision hit the ring, to interfere, you have to watch. Paul Heyman usually has to talk Bron Breakker off the ledge. This time, Paul wasn't holding the leash, and he let the dog go. Bronson Reed, he hesitated. He looks at Seth Rollins and then says, you know what? I know where my bread is buttered. Let me hit this guy with the tsunami. Because Bronson Reed, he's not an idiot. He's got plans in the WWE, and he knows the path to success. The thing with Paul Heyman, right, is that he smiles, he steps in between them, and he raises their arms, and that symbolizes the crowning of a new leadership. The same exact way that Paul Heyman showed the leadership between Seth Rollins and him is the same exact way he showed the new leadership of the vision, if that's what they still want to call it. Because the thing with Paul Heyman, though, I said, is Paul Heyman's been burned. Paul Heyman's been betrayed before by Roman Reigns. He's been betrayed by CM Punk. When Seth Rollins was talking to smack in the ring, for me, I knew it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, but then, there's also the little backside stories about how we really got here. Okay? Hear me out, walk with me, y'all, if y'all ready. So, apparently, Seth Rollins has been hiding another sling. Ladies and gentlemen, when he came out, if y'all was paying attention, because y'all know I deep dived it a little bit, he's holding his arm a certain way. All right? He's holding his arm a certain way, so apparently he's actually hurt. Now, if you and me know what's up, we're not going for this no more. We've gotten burned before by Seth saying he was hurt. And then what happened? Well, we see he has the belt now, doesn't he? Right. So, apparently I feel like this is Paul Heyman cashing in on that insurance. Like, oh, man. Oh, you're hurt. Okay. I got something for that. So, we're just going to just boot you out the story. Get another vision person, because the rumor has it is that Austin Theory is returning. Rumor has it that Austin Theory will be a part of said vision. Also, while this is all happening, Becky Lynch will also be relinquishing her title as Intercontinental Champion. So many things are going on right now with this story. But I think the number one thing is maybe this time he's actually injured. Maybe he's actually about to get surgery. So Paul Heyman doesn't like his toys broken. So what does Paul Heyman do? Always have a few backup toys with the same. Always have a few backup toys. So I mean,
looking at and I love that, right? I love that analysis. I love the way that you looked at it. But the way I'm looking at it as well too is that with Seth Rollins, you need to understand that you can't outsmart, you can't outuse, you can't throw out Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, he's a New Yorker, and we have a certain swagger to us, right? The same exact swagger that he used to create ECW.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Heyman, he has a website, he has a brand, and it's called Heyman Hustle. And he's a hustler who's been hustling since he was 13 years old when he got the chance, when he got a camera and the chance to take photos for Vince McMahon's father backstage. Paul Heyman, when he sits
let's put a little respect on the man. Hall of Famer Paul Heyman.
That is true. Hall of Famer Paul Heyman. When Paul Heyman sits at the table, Jess, Paul Heyman knows which side of his bread has butter on it.
All right, way before you get toasted. Hello?
Okay. You see, the crowd in Perth, though, they erupted, they gasped, boos. I knew it was coming. I have told you, Jess and I told you that it was coming. We talked about it in the Crown and Jewel recap in the preview shows. I talked about it in who should be the person that sees John Cena for his final match. I texted Jess. I contacted Jess in a non-spoiler kind of way. Did you see Raw?
Mm-hmm.
This was a Raw that you couldn't miss.
Hold you. Like when he texted me and told me that, I was just literally locking in because 8 a.m. on a Monday was kind of difficult, y'all. So I kind of overslept, but I did watch. When he texted me, I was just wrapping up, and I was like, we're locked in now. We're locked in.
So I want to present a question that I want to present a question to you, Jess, that was presented by Maria. Maria says, and I'm going to ask you first, and I'm going to react and answer after. She says, are we sure this isn't another Seth Rollins trick, like when we thought that he was injured and shocked us all at SummerSlam? Jess, you first.
I don't know. Y'all, I don't know. That's the problem. I'm like, I got a side eye. Our boy Seth, like, nah, bro, I don't know. But then on the other hand of that, on the double-edged sword side, I'm like, why would Becky take a week off? Why would you schedule another Intercontinental Championship again with Maxine after you already lost to her? Why would you do all of this if this was this wasn't a legit injury and he's actually going to take a week?
So for me to answer the question, are we sure this is isn't another Seth Rollins trick, like when we thought he was injured and shocked by us all at SummerSlam? Honestly, I don't know either. But even to be more honest, I don't care. Because when I'm watching when I'm watching pro wrestling on TV, I'm concerned about what I'm seeing in front of me. I'm not worried about, what Becky Lynch ate for lunch. I'm not worried about, how much Sheamus can lift in the gym. What I'm worried about is what I can see in front of me. I'm enjoying it. So is this another ruse by Seth Rollins? It could be another ruse. Is he really injured? I don't know. But what I'm really interested in is what is going to happen on subsequent episodes of Raw. What's going to happen on SmackDown? What could even happen on NXT? Maria, that was a really good question. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you, Maria. I appreciate that.
So
that was a nice little noggin boggler.
Yeah, that was nice. I love that. That's the best part about being here on the Tristen Law Show live. Some fans, though, chanted "You sold out," right? I personally, do you think anybody sold out in that ring?
I didn't hear nobody say sold out. All I heard, it was like this is what I heard. First half of Raw, you have everyone telling Seth, boo, 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 right?
Right.
What I heard when everybody turned on Seth, I heard yays and hoorays and all of these. So I don't know. I think the fans are it's very satisfactory.
Well, think about
your favorite death in TV and movie history and how satisfied you felt. That's how people felt when Seth got turned on.
Well, you see the thing too, is that a lot of people, some people online were saying that they sold out on Seth Rollins or whatever, but I don't think that nobody sold out. I think that Seth Rollins just played himself. Because this wasn't a heel turn. I think it was a transfer of power. That's what it really was.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said heel turn, but I should have said betrayal. Maybe not a heel turn, because all three of them have heel energy. All three.
They do.
Seth, what's his name? Seth and Bronze. They all have heel energy. So maybe it wasn't a heel turn, but definitely three heels can't be all in the same room, y'all.
I mean, when everybody's fighting for dominancy, the symbolism of the whole entire thing is that Seth Rollins was once a visionary. He was blinded by his own creation. I keep thinking of vision, blinded, can't see it coming. Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, they're the next generation. They rejected the old guard. Paul Heyman, he's the master manipulated, moving the chess piece. All Paul Heyman did, for my church people out there, all Paul Heyman did when he came out there, he watched a sermon, and he said that, Brother Breakker, I'm going to baptize you, and I'm going to baptize you in betrayal. But the betrayal is only half the story. The real question is, what happens when the student now becomes the master? Because Seth Rollins got left laying there. When Bron Breakker left, he left with something. What did he leave with, Jess?
Oh, God, he has his belt in his hand, and we know how that goes. We know what that means, right? That's the other reason why I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this might be a legit injury, because if it is a legit injury, he has to relinquish the belt.
Depending on how long he's going to be out for, yes.
Right, depending on how long he's going to be out. But now we're opening it back up, just like how Naomi left. You open it back up, right? And who just won that little triple three-way? CM Punk.
That's right. Now CM Punk need to cash in somewhere.
I'm just saying this is his opportunity for satisfaction, because come on now, we all felt what CM Punk felt when he held that title in his hand that night. We all felt it. We felt it, and I want to feel it again. So please, Brother Punk, go get your title back today.
So here's a question I'm going to present to you, Jess. I'm going to present to everybody watching, whether you're watching live or demand. Here's the question. Do you think that Seth Rollins deserved it? And I want you to be honest. Was this karma for everything he's done over the years?
What?
You know what?
Did he deserve?
Hold on. Wait, hold on, Jess. I want you to hold on to that. All right. Okay. I want everybody to get time to answer. But up next, I want to show you guys what is happening on November 6th.
Oh, yay!
Thursday, live like never before. It's Stream-A-Mania. 5 hours, 5 blocks, 1 pro wrestling super stream. WWE, AEW, TNA, nothing's off limits. Hour 1, I'm kicking things off solo. Hour 2, Jess the Yaptain. She joins me to talk women in pro wrestling. Hour 3, a debate you don't want to miss. Hour 4, our main event feature. And Hour 5, I'm closing it down. After dark, one-on-one with you. It's live, it's raw, and it may never happen again. Don't miss the first ever Stream-A-Mania, Thursday, November 6th, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. in the UK, live and only on YouTube. You know, Stream-A-Mania is coming, and I am probably going to get some t-shirts made that you're going to be able to get from the official store. Oh, you didn't know that there was a store that you can buy official Tristen Law Show merchandise? Well, you got to look at the link. Look at the link in the description. You know, I've heard people like Maria said that she's excited. I've heard people like Heel Vega said he's excited. I heard Fernando said that he's excited. The question I want to know, Jess, are you excited?
Oh my God. You know, I am very thoroughly excited. I have been writing all of my stuff down on the phone, because we're definitely going to get into this whole women wrestlers. What is it about women wrestlers, Jess? Oh, it is simple. That the PG era was not the era for women's wrestling. We are in the era of women's wrestling right here, right now, on NXT, on EV Live, on what's the AEW.
Yep.
It is. We are in the era of women, and I'm going to be talking to y'all. I got my receipts. I can show you facts. And I mean, if y'all was watching when I was watching, you know my facts.
Well, the thing too, though, is that I got some facts for you as well too. You know, I was watching something over the weekend, so I got some rebuttals to what you're going to say. So this might be getting a little bit hot and spicy. But hour five is going to be for all of our listeners. So make sure you call the promo hotline at 973-826-0101. You can call and ask any question because you are going to be a part of hour 5 of Stream-A-Mania. Hour 5 of Stream-A-Mania is just me and you. It's just going to be the both of us. Ask anything that you want. You want to complain about something? Complain about something. You want to praise something? Praise something. It's in pro wrestling? Ask me. You want to ask me on a podcast? You can ask me that as well too. But the question that I asked you before, Jess, before we went into looking and talking about Stream-A-Mania, do you think that Seth Rollins deserved it? Do you think that he deserved everything that he got on Monday Night Raw from Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman? Be honest. Is this karma for everything he's done over the years? The floor is yours.
Yes. I ain't even, there's no thought about it. Yes. We have been watching Raw for how many weeks now? And we have been watching him show his whole butthole, and it stinks. Now, I love Seth. I am totally a Seth Rollins fan. I really am. But between him and his wife, bro, no, it's time's up, bro. It's gotten to the point where if y'all have gotten mad annoying, your egos are a little too high, and y'all are, of course, y'all are one of the greatest wrestlers, but y'all have become sloppy with holding these titles. You feel me? Y'all doing cheap shots or cheap wins. That's not Becky Lynch. That's not Seth Rollins. No, y'all are greatness. Y'all are you're supposed to be a visionary, remember? So no, I think it's a time for them to both of them to get a wake-up call and, go sit down in a corner somewhere and remember who you really are.
So for me, do I think that Seth Rollins deserved it? Be honest. Is this karma for everything that he's done in the years? Maria says that, yeah, he had it coming. Cupcake is here. Hey, what's up, Cupcake?
Hey, girl, hey.
I haven't seen you in a little bit. Let me tell you something, Jess. And I'm not trying to go off topic, right? Because, I got some videos I got to edit, to put out on the channel and stuff like that.
Right.
If you asked me 20 years ago, I would have been 20, that I'd be sitting on the internet on YouTube talking about pro wrestling, that I would have a woman as a co-host and there'd be actual women sitting in the audience, I wouldn't believe none of that because it felt like for women to be wrestling fans 20 years ago, it felt like it was so taboo. Oh, you can't like wrestling. That's what the boys like. But we got Cupcake and we got Maria here.
You knew what I was talking about, bro. You knew what I was saying when I talked about it when I first got here. You knew. Yep.
So I'm glad that everybody's here. But yeah, I think that Seth Rollins deserves it. Seth Rollins, you have been a really, really, really bad boy. Seth Rollins, you have turned your back on the Shield. You turned your back on every single person that has ever helped you. Cody Rhodes, you look, I understand, Cody, and you might have had like a rivalry, right? But that was your man's. You went into Crown Jewel with the ability that you was going to hurt that man. Y'all couldn't just have a friendly match, so now you got what you got and you got what you deserved. You got the two people that you thought that had your back. I'm talking about Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. They no longer have your back. They left you lying on your back. Seth Rollins, like I said, has been a bad boy for a very, very long time. And every single thing that Seth Rollins gets, Seth Rollins deserves that and more. I think that... and don't forget, there's a poll going on, right? We love the polls, right? I don't like poll, but here's the poll. What was your reaction, what was your reaction to Seth's betrayal in Perth? 25% of the audience said that they were in total shock. 50% said that they saw it coming. 25% of the audience loved it, but nobody hated it.
That's what I'm talking about, y'all. The fans. That's why I'm here for you guys. I know. I am your oracle. I am your wise woman. I know how you feel. It's like, it was like Joffrey off of Game of Thrones. If you know, you know. Satisfaction.
I don't know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Satisfaction.
Cupcake says that she loves Seth. She seems like she's a Seth Rollins fan as well, too. And she said that Seth Rollins will be okay. So let's talk about let's talk about what's next for everybody in the WWE. Since we're talking about, there's a little bit of rumors and innuendo and what we think is going to happen. I'll tell you this. I think when I'm looking in my heart and I'm looking at the whole entire thing, I agree. I think that Seth Rollins will be okay. I think that Seth Rollins, the whole entire the new version of the Vision, they are going to rebrand. They're going to evolve the faction. I see possibly new music, new identity. They could dominate Raw. They could dominate the main event scene for months. Like Heyman may call this the new age of power, or he may call this the new Vision. I don't know. But this isn't the Vision anymore. Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman, they are no longer the Vision anymore. This is now the new regime that's going to lead the WWE.
Who knows? Maybe they might still be the Vision, just no Seth.
That's true.
Who knows?
So you were saying that Seth Rollins is possibly hurt.
Allegedly. Like Becky came on X, was like, yeah, I'm out of here for like a week, and I'm like, but you're not hurt, Becky.
Right. Where you going? You got work to do.
Where you going?
She's trying to flim-flam, scam, and okey-doke her way out of wrestling Maxine. Who Maxine had a great match with Becky Lynch 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God, amazing! You look, what is it? The Performance Center. We see who's been in there cooking. Okay, she has been working, and I am so happy for my little birdie, Maxine Dupree. And I hope. Yeah, so definitely lock in on Monday. We're all watching it. We got to see her. We got to root for that girl. We got to root for her, man. She's been in the background of Alpha Made for far too long. We need our girl to be intercontinental. Why?
Why?
AJ Lee. That's why.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you what I want to happen. If I was booking this, and we're not talking about Monday Night Raw, we're talking about Seth Rollins, but we're here right now. We'll be here for a couple seconds more, and then we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
If I was booking this, you need to understand the city that is taking place and the importance that it has to Maxine. Do you understand the importance that the city that Raw will be in next week has to Maxine?
How? Tell us, Trish.
It's her hometown.
Ooh, well, see, look, all of it works out, right? Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed wins in Perth. Our girl Rhea Ripley also wins in Perth. Seems like WWE loves to make sure that the hometown heroes win their matches every time. And I'm sure they've done it for Batista when they did come to DC. It's been a long time since we've had a Raw SmackDown in DC, not Baltimore, DC. It's been a long time.
Maria says that Maxine pulled a 1-2-3 kid on Becky. Cupcake says that Becky has to take care of her hubby. Aww. Cupcake is currently the #1 in the chat right now. She's the chat leader.
Go girl.
Followed by Maria, which is #3. I think Fernando. Fernando's #2 probably. But I'll tell you this. The reason why I was making faces, Jess, when you were talking about what you were going to do or what you like, is that because everybody wants Maxine to win the belt.
Yes, baby.
I would bring her into her hometown and I would let Becky Lynch beat her. The same exact way that Becky Lynch got beat by Maxine. So now we're emotionally invested. Instead of just getting one match out of the whole entire thing, you can probably squeeze 2 or 3 matches out of the whole thing. You can go ahead and beat Becky eventually. But the first thing I would do is I would beat Maxine in her home crowd. Have her do the same exact thing that Chad Gable did when Chad Gable was going for the championship and they beat him in his town. I would beat Maxine in her town as well too.
That would sound interesting.
Have her doubt herself. Have her walk up the stage, up to the ramp, up to the top, into the back, wondering if she's ever going to come back again. But she and Becky Lynch would just gloat the whole entire time. That's why ESPN says that she's the best wrestler in the females division. That's why Wall Street Journal says that she's the best person you should invest your stocks in. I
like the idea. I like that idea. I do, Trish, but I think they should have did that the last time when it was not a title on the line. You see what I'm saying? I'm with you, but now that her title is on the line, and now Becky's down herself, everyone's laughing and snickering because again, remember AJ made her submit, tap out, right?
True.
That's all Maxine's got to bring up. That's how we got here in the first place, because Maxine was like, "Oh, babes, you tapped out. So like, what's up?"
Let me tell you why that I think that it should go this way. 2 weeks ago, when Maxine Dupree was getting in the ring with Becky Lynch, did anybody care?
No.
So now that she's got that one credible win that she squeaked out on Becky Lynch, does everybody care?
Well, wait a minute. I got to go back. Let me run that back. Did anybody care? Yes, they did. Hold up. I had to remember what happened that night. Yes, there are people cared. Who cared? Natalia cared. We know when, I know we ain't take her seriously because she ain't put her cornrows in and stuff like that. But she was not feeling that. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough we haven't even seen Alpha Made in how many months? A long couple of months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's her prodigy, Natalia's, that's her little sister. And since, all of them, Becky, Natalia, all of them, kind of came in the same era, kind of, sort of. You know what I'm saying? You had Becky Lynch, who was 2015, and Natalia was more so the Total Divas 2012, 2013 era, right?
So this is what I'm asking. So we know who cared in the wrestling in the locker room. When Monday Night Raw started 2 weeks ago, when you sat down and you heard dum dum, that's the Netflix stamp. When you heard that, and you at that point, did you care whether Maxine Dupree won or lost? Did you care whether Maxine Dupree was on the show or not?
Well, for me, you're asking me. Right?
I'm asking you,
not as a general person. Me?
I'm asking you. Yep.
I've always wondered where the hell Maxine Dupree went ever since, what was that, Royal Rumble?
Right.
I've been curious. That's just me because I seen her in Royal Rumble and I was like, okay, hold up, who is this little bird? Because she clearly has the potential to be great. And then boom, didn't see her no more. Then I was like, oh, dang, so you've been with Alpha Made the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I guess it's just from a newbie standpoint. I was like, hold up, where is she? So I always keep my eyes on the girls that they don't talk about. So where is Maxine Dupree? Where is Nia
Jax?
Ivy Niles. Where's she been? Where is I keep calling her Michelin, but Mission. You know her.
Michin.
Right. Why doesn't B-Fab wrestle much? All the girls that I think about, I be thinking about, I be like, yo, where are they at? Because they have potential. You give them some time in the performance. We got something going on, right?
So I'm going to ask the audience, right? I'm asking everybody watching, whether you're watching live or on demand, let me know right now. Did you care about Maxine Dupree prior to that Monday Night Raw? If you're asking me, no. I didn't care about her. I didn't care whether she was on the show or not. I didn't care whether she won or lost. But once I saw that match, and I think I probably put it on Threads. You can always follow me at Threads at The Real Big Tris. And you can always follow Jess on Threads too at Jess the Yaptain. Make sure you put your E's in there. I said that this was the best match that I've ever seen Maxine Dupree have in her entire life. In her entire life. Now she's getting ready to win this championship or get ready to go in this championship match against Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
I want Becky Lynch to beat her in her hometown. Because you know what? It's going to show how much everybody really cares. Because now, what I would do now is have Maxine Dupree walk away. Have Maxine doubt herself and then come back and then win. And then win the championship. It's going to mean so much more when she came from a nobody, right? Because like they say, I don't watch football, but Jess, you watch football, so you can understand what I'm going to tell you. On any given Sunday, pick one. The worst team in the NFL can beat the best team in the NFL, right or wrong?
I've seen it happen before.
So Maxine Dupree, she was respectfully the worst team in the NFL that nobody cared about whether she won or lost. You know what? We don't got nothing to watch on TV. We like football, so we're going to watch anyway. Either way, she beat one of the best teams in the NFL. So now when she comes back, you expect her to beat her again. But when she doesn't win, you're going to say, damn, was that a fluke? Was that a flash in the pan? But then it really happens. When it really happens, when she really beats her again and wins that championship, is going to mean so much more. Because at that time, Becky Lynch, her head is going to be on the pillow. She's going to be sleeping.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate on you, because I think that I like your story. I like where you're going with that. But guess what? I don't think it's going to be Maxine. I think that will be Becky.
Okay.
I think it will be Becky Lynch who starts doubting herself. And again, I think the people probably thought, Maxine won that off of a fluke. She's not that good.
Right.
She can't wrestle for real. So I think next week will be the opportunity for everyone to see, like, no, Maxine is the head she's that girl.
Well, look, okay, we're talking about Seth Rollins here being turned on by the Vision, Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed. And in the chat, we had Cupcake said, I have a question for Jess. Where's the infamous AJ Lee? Jess, where is AJ Lee?
Girl, let me tell you where she's sitting at. Sitting right on the shelf, right next to Nikki Bella, until Liv Morgan comes back for War Games. That was definitely a tinfoil moment, but I feel like they are holding on to AJ Lee and Nikki Bella for Liv Morgan, because when Liv Morgan got hurt, there was a lot of talk within the WWE saying that, they had like at least a year and a half of storyline for Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella.
Right. Oh, Nikki Bella.
Right. Ooh. Yeah, there's been a whole story for that. And then somehow this is another aluminum foil moment. I personally thought that, once that whole story ended up, we revisit the never-ending feud of AJ Lee and Nikki Bella, for sure.
Well, Fernando says that AJ Lee is coming back at Survivor Series, according to sources. Fernando also says that Maxine is going to be the new ultimate underdog of the WWE. Fernando also says, who's number 2 right now in the chat, that Becky should start her own women's faction and dominate Raw. And he says that Becky is a good chance to go down as the GOAT. I agree. If you're looking for a good book to read, I always suggest everybody read Becky Lynch's book. But when we're looking at Seth Rollins, his path forward is that he's not going to be forced into solo, maybe babyface mode. Seth Rollins can come back if he's hurt, legit. He could come back as the biggest babyface in the WWE. He could come back betrayed. He could come back beaten, but he could come back defiant. He could go on a full revenge arc, hunting Heyman's proteges one at a time.
Light bulb. I got a light bulb, Tristen, just from you saying that.
Go ahead, give it to me.
Unless we're having a redo of the New Day. All of a sudden, you treat this man Seth Rollins like the New Day did with Big E.
How they just pooped on him.
Kind of, sort of like, you left. You said you ain't need us no more. Don't come over here with open arms trying to be cool and apologize. Oh, no. We ain't doing that.
But I think that that CM Punk, I think that Seth Rollins, that he could reunite with past allies, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Well, Kevin Owens is hurt, but let's say he comes back, right? But two people that I could see him aligning himself with is CM Punk and Seth and Roman Reigns. Why? Especially more so Roman Reigns is because Roman Reigns is even doubting himself. He's having a hard time with division right now. He's having a hard time with Braun and Braun. And right now, Seth Rollins needs friends, right? Possibly few said we're looking at Seth Rollins versus Bron Breakker. Generational collision. Bron Breakker is Cena's last opponent, and a win over Cena and then a win over Seth would be massive for Bron Breakker. Yeah. At this time, no one else makes sense to retire John Cena. Yeah, people saying that it could be Dominic Mysterio, but I think that Dominic Mysterio will feel flat. Every episode of Raw and SmackDown, I change my mind. Listen to what I'm telling you, everyone. Bron Breakker is the future of professional wrestling. He is the future, whether you like it or not. Bron Breakker is the future of pro wrestling. You can even get matches with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. You get power versus precision. It's a long-term setup for Rollins versus Heyman's Empire at a major PLE. Pick one, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Either way, Seth Rollins is alone, and every bridge that he's ever crossed, he's burned.
Mm-hmm.
Roman is going to help. Roman could help Seth. Excuse me for what I'm about to say, but he's a dick. Cody could help Seth, but Seth is a dick. CM Punk isn't going to help Seth because Seth is a dick. But what do they all have in common? One enemy that might just work. Seth Rollins needs allies at this time. In order to get his allies going, excuse me for what I'm about to say, Seth Rollins is going to have to eat shit and like the taste of it.
Yeah, he's going to have to kiss the ring.
And I'm giving myself a hand clap.
But he's going to have to kiss the ring. That's real.
Looking at the chat, Fernando says that Seth and Roman will definitely get back together and reform the Shield without Dean Ambrose. You know what I was thinking yesterday when I was at work? I said, what if they got Cody Rhodes to join the Shield just for that time? And he had his like American like camo like gear on or whatever. I
like it. Not a bad story.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a long story. You know, WWE, they like to do storytellings that have a lot of good chapters in it.
Right. These days, yes.
So that will maybe get 2 chapters, and that's it. Like probably after 5 PLEs, it'll be over.
Fernando agrees with me and says that Bron Breakker should be the one to beat Cena in his last match. At this point, and Cupcake says that would be awesome, Fernando. At this point, it makes sense for nobody else. Bron Breakker is the only person that's going to get the most from this whole entire thing. When you look at Paul Heyman's future, Paul Heyman, he reasserts his role as WWE's ultimate puppet master. This could tie into the larger bloodline fallout. Heyman jumping factions again. This may create new storyline bridges between Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and maybe even TNA. What? Wait.
You ready for this? Where your hat at?
Oh, you want me to put the hat on? Hold on.
Where your hat at? Because, baby, I am...
All right, Jess, that's a tinfoil moment.
To pop everybody's bubble. I'm sorry. But unfortunately, that ain't going to be John Cena's last match. We know how powers that be go. Tinfoil hat fans, John Cena's last match is going to be The Rock. Yes, it is, y'all. It's going to be The Rock.
You even put the tinfoil hat on for that?
I said it. It's the powers that be, y'all. Y'all know the powers that be always. They always get what they want.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the Tristen Law Show. That is Jess. If it is The Rock, I want all the money that I've ever spent on WWE. I want back the $800 I spent to go to SummerSlam. I want the money that I spent to go to WrestleMania 35. The cut water. You ever had cut water? Had cut water. I want the cut water that I bought. The can of cut water that I bought from MetLife Stadium. I want that back as well, too.
I'm only saying that for real. I'm playing, but I'm saying that because, they sat him down in an interview and he was like, I would love to be John Cena's last match. And I'm like, oh my God.
And I would love to be, and I would love to be a millionaire. You see, when The Rock says something like that, Jess, you take your 2 hands, right? And you hold them together, right? Hold them together just like this. And what you do is you wish in one hand and you piss in the other and see which one is going to fill up first. Look, I do not want, under any circumstances, The Rock anywhere near that main event. It's Bron Breakker. It has to be Bron Breakker. God, if you listen to my prayers right now, you see, look, even Fernando said, please, no Rock, and he put the prayer hands in there. He put the prayer hand emoji. You know what? Everybody, let's bow your head in prayer.
Yes.
Lord, please hear our prayers. Please, under no circumstance. I'm an ordained minister. Sorry, I messed up the prayer. Bow your head. Lord, please, under no circumstances, make The Rock be the person that is going to retire John Cena. Lord, in your greatness, please choose somebody better. Maybe somebody like Bron Breakker. You know, I'd even take Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic Mysterio. But you know what, Rock, Lord, please no Rock. You know, I know you and The Rock might be friends because The Rock only had $7 in his pocket. Now he has $7 billion in his pocket. Lord, please hear our prayers as we scream out and we pray to you in your name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And then watch God was like, aha, sick.
Right.
Look at Paul.
Look, see, Cupcake pointed out, who's now number 1 in the chat. She says that The Rock isn't in wrestling shape. Let's give The Rock a hand clap.
He's not.
He's not. Go get your weight up, kid. Look, I would have agreed with The Rock being the final person at this point in time, but after what we got leading into WrestleMania, you know what? I'm kind of good on The Rock. You know, I loved him during the Attitude Era, loved the whole eyebrow raising thing, if you can smell what The Rock is cooking, but you know what? I don't want to smell that anymore. We're talking about Bron Breakker, and he's now possibly the leader of Division, and the Division didn't die. It evolved, and Seth Rollins, he just wasn't a part of the evolution. And just like that, Division has new eyes, but they are looking at are they looking at Rollins, or are they looking at the entire WWE universe? Who do you want to see step up and help Seth Rollins fight back?
Man, that's a tough one. Because we just went through all the people who possibly could help him, but because he is he's a douche. He's a douchebag. All the people that I could think about ain't gonna want to help him at all. So you're just gonna have to go, off the rails. So something like, wait, who's over at Raw right now? Jesus, who's at Raw right now? Because I'm like, everybody who I can think of is not at Raw. They're over there at SmackDown right now.
The person that can help Seth Rollins.
No.
The person that can help Seth Rollins, I can tell you this for 100% fact. 2 things: they're not born yet, and they don't even wrestle in the WWE yet. They don't even know if they like wrestling.
That's a shame. Now, Dean. If Dean, I'm about to say, y'all brought up Dean Ambrose, right? You bring Dean back.
Keep him in AEW. He's good there.
I know, but wait a minute. Let me make sure I know who Dean Ambrose is. No, I was confusing him with Brian. But never mind.
Yeah, keep him over there too. But look at this, right? Let's take a look at the why. If I already said who I thought who could face him, who could help him, but like I said, he's going to have to eat a lot of crow in order for him to get there.
Oh yeah.
Let's look at the why. Let's look at why this all happened. Every character has a reason. Ego, ambition, manipulation. The reason why it happened for somebody like Bron Breakker is because Bron Breakker was feeling himself. You know, like, for Bron Breakker always knew that he was more than he could be. Bron Breakker's a second-generation Nepo baby. Well, first-generation Nepo baby, because his kid would be a second-generation Nepo baby. His father and his uncle, decorated tag team champions, right? His uncle, Big Papa Pump, holla if you hear me, world champion in WCW and TNA. He had people in his ear telling him that you're better. You're better. For Paul Heyman was just looking for the newest horse that he can place his money on. For Bronson Reed said, you know what, I better get with the program. I don't think this whole entire thing was random. I think it was earned. Because when you look at WWE's long-term storytelling, WWE set this up months ago. I keep telling everybody, when you're watching the WWE program, you have to watch everybody. You can't just watch what is happening in front of you. Because like Jess watches Game of Thrones, I feel that WWE, they drop these breadcrumbs, and then when they get to the final part, they go, oh, well, y'all didn't see all that? Because these are how these small seeds, like Heyman silence doing the segments. Hey, Heyman trying to take Bronson Reed off the ring. No, not yet. You know, all these things, it paid off. Everybody felt something. Everybody felt the betrayal. Even whether they were on the side of Seth Rollins or not, they felt the betrayal because you know what? Somewhere in the vision, we believed in it somehow. This is good storytelling. This is great wrestling. Wrestling is great when emotion drives the action. Pro wrestling is all about emotion. Betrayal equals emotion. WWE, they didn't just tell a story, Jess. They reminded us why we cared about them in the first place.
Oh, man. God, I love this. I love this industry. I love this company.
So when you look at other like callbacks to major betrayals, Shield, Seth Rollins turned on the Shield, Evolution, Randy Orton got thrown out of Evolution. You know, look at the bloodline. Favorite. Look at the bloodline. Jey Uso
was my favorite.
Got turned on. So Seth Rollins became a big name, Randy Orton became a huge name, and Jey Uso is still in his rise. So maybe right now it's Bron Breakker's time. This is Seth Rollins, his this whole arc. This is his karma arc coming full circle.
You know what? Just to double back around to what you were saying. So if anybody to assert his dominance for Braun, I think he should go see Randy Orton.
Not yet. He needs to see John Cena first.
I don't know.
The reason why I say go see John Cena is because John Cena's beaten all the names that Bron Breakker can see. It's just like when Roman Reigns was working his way up, he beat Brock Lesnar. Once he beat Brock Lesnar, he can beat anybody. So once he gets rid of John Cena and John Cena's beaten almost everybody in the WWE, he's already earned the stripes. He becomes a made man. Bron Breakker is going to become a made man. Let's go to the...
Can't wait. I can't wait. I can see it now. The face of WWE. Well, the face of heels in WWE. Bron Breakker. I can see it now. Like I said, he's going to be the next beast. You know what I'm saying? They're going to terror and fear to see this man on the card. I love it.
I think that, you love it. I love it even more because if this is a sign of, if this story is any sign, this is a sign that WWE might have found its next big money rivalry heading into the new year. If Seth Rollins is really hurt when he comes back, this is a big money rivalry that we're all going to see. And by that time, they're going to have Bron Breakker walk around with the belt. I think Bron Breakker, instead of giving the belt to somebody else, Bron Breakker could walk around just to defend the belt. He's not the real champion, and he beats everybody and builds his credibility.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. But all I know is that CM Punk is the #1 contender right now. Look
at this. Fernando says, let's start with, Fernando says that Bron Breakker will turn on Bronson as well. Of course, eventually. Fernando says that Cody will forgive Seth and help Seth, if not Roman. You know why? Because Cody Rhodes is a goody two-shoes. That's why.
Yeah, he is a good guy. And even though we keep teasing we want Cody to turn, he enjoys the babyface. He enjoys being the hero. So why would he?
Right. Fernando says that by next year, your Bron Breakker will replace Cody as the QB of WWE. Okay, give you a hand clap for that one. Cupcake says that she agrees with me. Emotion is everything. Everything. Every time you ever watched a movie and it made you cry, it was the emotion. Every time you watched a book and read a book, it made you cry, it was emotion. When you watch the news and you hear something happens to a kid and you cry, it's emotion. Emotion is built into everything. You know that time, Jess, back in the day when that dude made you mad and you text him everything that his mother should have did with him when him and the daddy was together? That's all emotion. That's all emotion. Emotion is tied into every single thing that we do as humans. Fernando says that we might get Bron Breakker versus Brock Lesnar, and Bron Breakker beats Brock Lesnar. Yeah,
that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and remember, Seth. Remember, Paul Heyman asked Brock Lesnar for a favor. We got to see what the favor was for Brock Lesnar. We never got to see what the favor was for Paul Heyman. He hasn't cashed in on that yet. Maria Cupcake says, does Seth Rollins need help? Yeah, at 911. Because if Roman Reigns is having if Roman Reigns is having problems, Seth Rollins is going to be having bigger problems as well too. Let's go to the poll. Let's close out the poll. And the poll I was asking was, what was your reaction to Seth Rollins' betrayal in Perth? 20% said total shock. 60% saw it coming. 20% loved it, and nobody hated it. I thank you guys all for voting and participating in the poll.
The power of storytelling. I knew y'all wasn't upset. I knew y'all loved it. I knew it.
But I'll say this, right? From visionary to victim. Seth Rollins, he's once again standing alone. But if history's taught us anything, it's that The man who rebuilds from betrayal comes back stronger. Whether he finds the redemption or revenge, one thing is for sure, the vision may be gone, but the story is just getting started. Seth Rollins doesn't need a faction. No. At this point, he needs redemption.
Yes.
Well, did Paul Heyman blind Bron Breakker to end Seth Rollins' vision? I think so. Thank you so much for joining us November 6th. Don't forget, it's Stream-A-Mania live here on YouTube. 5 hours of pro wrestling action. I'll be back on Friday with Jess, and I have somebody new to introduce you here to. My name is Tristen Law. She's Jess, the Yaptain. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Flashing red lights.